What?
Paula's bad network quality. That's all.
I also have blue skin tones because of this stupid camera that I hate so much. I hate it, Brad. I hate it.
Are you sure you're just not lacking oxygen? Because that would explain a lot of your behavior.
I'm pretty sure I am lacking oxygen. But you ever have one of those weird life kind of coincidence? Like it's oxygen, please.
Coincidental. Word of the day. Coincidental. Paul doesn't have any oxygen flowing through his brain.
Coincidences. Last week we went to a concert in the middle of the week. Saw a Cheap Trick out in Reading, Pennsylvania, which is kind of a hard scrabble town, But the venue was great. The concert was great. We had a restaurant that was fantastic, but man, we couldn't get out of there quick enough. Anyway, one of the weird things about this trip, I don't know if I mentioned this, probably not, but it's a weird thing to even say to anybody, but this DoubleTree that we stayed at had the...
You could not have timed that up any better. Your mic just cut out.
Right. There we go. Let's see if that does anything. Anyhow, he happens to know the guy who owns a technology business that they put in Reading specifically because they got all these tax advantages and blah, 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 whatever it was. But one of the stipulations was they had to spend a certain amount of money, whatever it was, probably some millions of dollars, on beefing up the broadband in the area. This business is right next to the hotel. So that hotel got the fastest fiber pipe imaginable, and they put in multiple access points on every single floor. And he's like, that is probably the most wired hotel in the entire country. It's like, it makes no sense. But I just happened to go there, and I happen to know a guy. I don't really know that many people here, It's kind of random.
Fantastic.
Coincidental.
Coincidental.
Anyway, how you doing?
So how's your Pixel 6?
So overall, it's great, but I'm going to publish a kind of an interim thing today because we're going to go to DC this weekend. I wanted to take it on like a little trip before I publish the review. Overall, it's fantastic and everything, but it's interesting to me that the camera experience isn't that much better than the thing I had with the Pixel 5, other than the performance and the telephoto, which is over the top. It's fantastic. But I think that's a measure of Google's just quality with computational photography. It is better, but it's interesting how good they were able to make it on pretty crappy hardware. But there were two major issues. Well, one major issue and then a couple of other issues, but I'll just mention two of them. The fingerprint reader on this thing is a crime against humanity. It is horrible. And I have done everything I can to make it work better, and it's a little better. And it basically involves re-registering the same finger as multiple fingers. That's one little tip. And then you can turn on like display sensitivity, which is something you do typically when you have a screen protector on it. And yeah, it helps a little bit. But I haven't used an in-display fingerprint reader this bad in 3 years, maybe. I mean, this is something OnePlus and Samsung have both really figured out. When these things work, they're great. This phone has a camera in it that is capable of doing face unlock or whatever they call it in the Android side. Does not have that feature. It can. Maybe that will help, the combination of the two. I don't know. But like right now, it's not a reason not to buy it exactly, but these guys had perfected that rear-mounted fingerprint reader thing, and I don't understand not using that. Just a huge mistake on their part. It was a nice differentiator.
Yeah.
The other one, this is just, it's not a huge problem, but every flagship smartphone today does not come with a power brick, right? You get the cord, the USB to USB cable typically, but you don't get the brick. So, Google, like other companies, sells a brick you can buy. It's like $25. It's not that expensive. But every single Pixel until now, literally every single one, came with an 18-watt charger. And that was considered back in 2017 or whatever year these things first came out, 2015, I don't know. That was considered fast charging back in the day. I can assure you today, 18 watts is not fast charging. It's not even close. So I think iPhones probably charge in the 25-watt area today, maybe better. And you can buy like I know you can get a 25-watt charger for those. And then depending on the other phones, they go anywhere up to OnePlus 9 Pro. I think it's a 65-watt wired charger, which is crazy. Anyway, the thing that Google sells is a 30-watt charger. So you think, well, okay, it's in the mix. It's in the area. It's better than 18, so they finally went up from that. Great, So I bought this little piece of crap, and man, this thing's charges slow. It's not fast charging in any way, shape, or form. And I don't remember the site. I apologize. I'll link to this in my eventual review, but actually I'll link to it today when I write the article, that part of the article. But one Android site, and then others have kind of piled on, basically investigated this thing. It doesn't charge over 21 or 22 watts ever. It's not even a 30 watt. It can't charge at 30 watts. So 18 versus 21, 22 is a negligible change. And this is how negligible. It actually does charge to 50% in an hour. Actually, it might even be 30 minutes, something like that. But after that, the charging falls off a cliff, which, by the way, is the same power profile you see on the other Pixels. It's not actually that different. But it takes 111 minutes to fully charge. If you used your 18-watt power charger, it would take 121 minutes. That's what, 7% or something? It's like a tiny...
Definitely slower.
Terrible. So
the humanity.
I know. At least the pictures are good.
Yeah.
Pictures are good.
Other things that I didn't know were still happening. I didn't realize OneDrive was still available or even supported for Windows 7, 8, or 8.1. Yeah. If you were one of those users, you might want to think about upgrading. Maybe.
So I have a question there. I mean, I have to assume that the OneDrive client is the same on 7 and 8. That's why they're bundled together like this. Because it seems to me, isn't Windows 8 still supported?
I think it is.
So
yeah, but
fair enough. I mean, I know. But it just seems... I guess it seems odd that it would continue in Windows 7 past the time that it did. It seems odd they would cut it off on Windows 8 because some people must be using it. Right?
I'm sure there's somebody listening to this using Windows 8 and I like it. I'm sure you do.
Actually, I think my neighbor across the street is still using Windows 8.
Yeah.
That says a lot about my neighbor across the street, frankly.
I mean, he is your neighbor. He chose to live next to you, so.
Well, he
already made poor choices.
I don't think either one of us were happy about this. But, anyway, they're out there. If you're really proud.
Other things that are not out there is going to be Channel 9, which is going away, unfortunately. It's merging.
Yeah. Mary Jo had a rumor about this a couple weeks ago where she said it was going away. I don't remember if she ever wrote it or she just told me this privately. And, I think this is tied to, this is real old school Microsoft stuff. There have been factions within Microsoft pushing to get rid of other things that are not them, and to take over those things. And a lot of that stuff happens in what used to be called DevDiv, the developer part of Microsoft. And I'll just say it's perhaps not coincidental that some of the guys who have been around a long time are taking part in this. I mean, I'm just, I don't know. But, you can see this type of battle in the PDC versus build thing. You can see it in where DevDiv is related or is located within the business structure. It's moved around a lot. Frankly, I think it should be outside of everything, but whatever. And you can see it in this. I mean, Channel 9, they had a very professional setup, great people, wonderful content. They were always, when you walked in the door at one of the Microsoft conferences, they were right there with a big booth. And you and I have done things on location and also at their, wherever their place was at the headquarters there. So I hope it makes sense for it to be part of Microsoft Learn, I guess, but I also think this is the result of a political battle being won by one side.
Here's a little trivia fact. You might know this, but you might not. Do you know why it was called Channel 9?
I feel like I did know this at one time. Damn it. I do not.
So I believe it was American Airlines. Back when they used to have those little radios that you could plug into in the armrest and listen to stuff. Channel 9 was what you could hear the pilots talking on. So you could hear the whole cockpit conversation. And so that was the idea, was Channel 9 was the conscious
stream. That's a good
stream.
name. So then I did not know that. So I expected to fully understand this. That's great. That's actually a good name.
Yeah. So that was a good name. Anyways, it's called Learn Now. There's also an interesting education event. The only reason I think it's interesting is that there's rumors of a Windows 11 like education version, and also a lower priced Surface device designed for education. I don't know if we're going to see that. It's actually tomorrow at this event.
That's right.
But there's going to be a Microsoft education event this week.
Yeah, those are the rumors. So I think that would be the reason for people who otherwise don't really care that much about the education market to maybe pay attention to this. Obviously, they need something that can truly compete with Chromebook. And, you and I were there infamously when they launched Surface Laptop, a $1,500 device, that whatever it was, that in no way served the needs of the education market, and Windows 10s, which in no way served the needs of anybody. So yeah, this is, I think, so how long, that was what, when was that? What year was that? It's been a while.
So we're on Surface Laptop 4, so at least 4 years ago then, right? At least.
I'm going to say 5-ish probably. Yeah, maybe 2016, something like that.
Yeah.
A long time ago.
Sounds about right. I morphed into this thing.
Yeah. No, I actually think Surface Laptop's a wonderful computer.
It's a great vanilla machine.
Yeah, it was great when Apple released it as the MacBook Air. But whatever. It's
So are you saying the next version of the Surface Laptop we're going to get a full-size HDMI port, 2 USB-C, and a headphone jack?
No, because that's the MacBook Pro, right? So the next version of the MacBook Air supposedly is going to look a little bit like the new iMacs with the white bezel around the screen and colored bodies. And I think that's a fun direction to take that. That's good.
Yeah, I think they will sell quite well whenever I guess that's a next year thing.
Yeah.